probability of being late to school is 0.95 and the probability of it raining is 0.3. Are these independent or dependent, Rodrigo? Are they independent or dependent?
Dependent?
I disagree. Why is it independent, Ugo?
Es que no leí la pregunta.
Because the percentages of
because one of them doesn't rely on the other one?
Excellent. One of them doesn't rely on the other one. Gwendolyn, using the information from the previous question, what's the probability of it raining and being late? Raining and late. Okay, so Gwendolyn thinks it's 0.95 plus 0.3. Do we agree with that?
No, it's times.
Why is it times?
Because it is. I don't know why, it just is.
Okay, what you need to remember in probability, when it says and, you think it's add, because it sounds like add, it's times.
But when do we add them?
When it says or, you use plus. We're going to use some questions on that in a second. Now, this is called an expected value table. This tells you a variable on the first row and the variable on the second row. Sarah, what do you think all these numbers need to add up to if they're probabilities?
Wait, what?
What do you think all these numbers should add up to if they're probabilities? I'm going to ask Sarah. Yes, excellent. 1. So what I'm going to do is 0.3 plus k plus 0.4 plus 2k plus 0.1. Now, Nikolai's going to say, can I just do this in my head? Absolutely. But if you get the answer wrong, you're not going to get marks. So the more workings you show, the better for your exam. You're going to add all these numbers together. That's going to be 0.8 plus 3k equals 1. And then we're going to have 3k equals 0.2. K equals 0.2 divided by 3. That will give you a horrible decimal.
1.3333.
That's it. Excellent. A-NB is where they both cross. So the actual answer would be this bit here.
B-A.
So why are we not doing the stuff around it though?
Because intersection means just where they both cross.
Just the intersection.
So just where A dash is and crosses with B.
So without C.
So the answer is going to
everything minus only A.
It's going to be everything minus. It's going to be probability of B minus P of A and B. That would be your answer.
So it's everything outside and B only
No,
minus.
it's just this section.
Ah, vale. Okay.
Because
Okay.
that's the only section they cross.
Okay.
Now, the union, so the intersection's quite hard because what I would do is I'd draw one picture and then the second picture. What's harder about the union, or easier about the union, is if we had something like A dash union B dash, we're going to draw everything which isn't A, then we're going to draw everything which isn't B, and that would be our answer. So it's everything coloured in apart from the central section.
Only central.
Wait, no.
Only the central section's
But
empty.
If it's union, you just need to know what the thing they have in common is the union. So you just basically know that's everything in the middle.
It's
So-
gonna be the opposite to the union, pretty much.
Intersection, yes. You have to colour in everything that's not A, everything that's not B, and then that's your answer. The intersection is different because you find everything that's not A, everything that's B, and it's only where they cross. So the intersection is normally a smaller area, whereas the union includes everything. Yes.
Are you doing the example you just wrote about?
This one is this one,
No.
and
about
this
that.
one is this one. I can
What
do
is
that
that?
later.
Okay, so. Okay.
Do you get these two?
So means from there you only take the middle.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
It's everything apart from the middle,
Yeah, that's fine.
O sea, solo
So
solo
it's
calculo
dash,
esto,
it's
la
everything.
concha.
but the thing.
Tú haces
Yeah.
A naught, que es todo lo que no sea, and then you do B naught,
But
which
then
everything not be so
it
left
says
with the
everything.
starting
Yeah.
and ending.
But A
Todo
and B.
que coloreado
Are you talking about this one or
es
this
lo
one?
que hay que calcular.
Okay, I'm going to do it again. Need to write scored.
Todo menos
A.
Okay.
lo que yo coloreé.
Yeah, you draw the edge because it's not B, so when you
Yeah,
do
but
not
it's
B,
not A.
Right,
neither.
D2s. Can I stop all little mumblings because I would like to explain to Gwendolyn if Gwendolyn doesn't understand that this is really important. Union means you first of all focus on the first term, you draw your picture. Then
yeah, escucha.
you focus on your second term, you draw your picture. Your answer is anything you've coloured in. If you changed it to n, it's not anything you've coloured in, it's
The
only the intersection of what you coloured in. So where they cross, because that's intersection. So where they cross on this one, even though we've got the A dash, the B dash, because it's an N, the answer's different. Because where they cross in the previous diagram is nothing to do with A and nothing to do with B. So that one's different to that one because of the N and the U.
I get that one, but I don't get the N.
Okay, the N is the hardest one. You have to draw the first letter in one direction. Let's go left. Second one in another direction, and you see where they cross. All on the outside, they cross over,
Oh, okay.
but they don't cross over in the
Okay,
middle.
I get it.
So that's your answer.
Okay.
So if it's an intersection, you should draw two images. You should draw where they cross and then draw another image again.
I got it.
Right. Now this question has been really stumbling my Diploma 1, and we did this in lockdown. So if you don't work hard in lockdown, you need to listen. 20 people study French and German only. Now, French and German only is going to be
50.
This one.
this one.
20 minus 5.
Why does it not include the 5?
Because 5 is everyone.
Yeah,
Oh.
5 is everyone. It's
Yeah.
Spanish, French, and German.
However, if it said 20 people study French and German, what is going to be in this circle here instead?
15.
15. Excellent, because this whole circle represents French and German. So I'm going to give you an example. This is what my D1s were struggling with. If this said 20 people study French and German, this would be 15. And the reason, please stop talking. Every time you talk, you're interrupting my brain. The reason why this would be 15 is because this person and this person, they both like French and German. This person happens to like French, German, and Spanish. But it doesn't matter that they like Spanish as well, because we're just asking who likes French and German. I could like French and German, but I could also like Spanish. But the question's not asking
But it
about
says
Spanish.
only means.
But it says only, so this must be 20. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So we've done this. Now, what do you notice is similar or different about the first and second statement?
Hostia,
It
to-
also includes French and German, but not Spanish.
No, so you can put
Same.
both answers are correct.
Yes, they're both the same statement, but they're both different ways of saying it. You can either say, can you stop swearing? I'm recording this. Why are you swearing? Is this difficult for you?
Yes,
Stressing.
we Spanish people were very.
We Spanish.
You're not Spanish.
Yeah, no, sorry.
You forgot about that.
Banana club.
Okay, Russian and Spanish people will get very emotional.
Okay, I'm aware of that.
Vale.
So, you can either format the question with an only or French and German but not Spanish. Now, Enrique, 60 study French. What's the number going to go here?
No, it's 20. No, wait. 35. 25? No, wait. 35.
Yeah, well done. Why is it 25?
Because if you sum 20 plus 10 gives you 30 then.
Because there's all the other numbers
And
inside.
then 35 plus 25 is 60, so.
Great. I'm going to give you a question now about this Venn diagram.
Okay. What's the total now, miss?
It's not relevant to this question.
Okay.
The baby. Ya, Dios, es el apoyo, sí. Pero que no usas ni papel y vas a estar comprando ustedes dos.
Bueno, se ve igual. ¿Se te guarda automático?
Sí, pero ya está ahí.
Yes, Gwendolyn.
No
Can you
falta tu
explain
ya está ahí.
the intersection that you did there?
This one?
Yeah.
Or this one?
About
This one again. So,
So
first of all, please everybody do this question. These are the formulas you can use. First thing you do is everything that's not A. Everything that's not A is this section here. Then you do everything that's B. Because it's
only where
crosses, and they only cross there. So that's the answer. Got it? Can you have a go at this
it's
question,
25
please?
out of
Use this
100.
formula.
Do we have to add
Miss.
20 and 25?
Out of 60.
Is this a conditional probability?
Not for yes, not for this question.
Oh,
But
given
it is
they
something
study
to do with
French.
25.
And it's when it says 3 people study French and German.
Yes.
Only. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that would be 25
But if
out
it
of
didn't
60.
say only,
I
Gwendolyn,
would put it like
this would be 15. Yes.
Okay.
So A would be 25 and B would be 35. Well,
Close.
event A and event B.
Close. You've got
Or
one.
it would be 60A and 35B. Es que me estoy volviendo loco.
Miss, isn't it just 25 out of 60?
The conditional probability, esto, the out of 60,
Sorry, you do need the total number, sort of. I'd say it's 100.
Miss, look, but it's given the person studied French, so that means you do it only out of 60 or no?
Yes, but
So it's 25 out of 60.
yeah.
yes,
But you can use 100.
So I
But
can
it's
put
not
25 out of 100 as well.
probability can
No,
be
your answer's
percentage.
right. Yes,
So which one's right? Miss, out of 60 or
Both.
60. But you
It's
could, in your
25
workings out, you
and
could include the 100.
25 divided by 60.
Yes.
Multiplying
Only workings out
100.
is
No.
it's in my
No,
head.
it's just that.
Yes,
Miss, it's easy because like I just look at the diagram, I don't get
Yeah,
the formula.
exactly.
Bro, es que lo quieren complicar.
Lo está complicando, tío.
Stop
Bro, just look
talking
at it and
in
you
3,
Bueno, ya no lo digas contigo.
2, and 1. Right, I'd like to move on to finance in about 3 to 4 minutes. There's a couple more topics I'd like to explain on this page.
Okay.
Now, Enrique, if it says given in a question, what formula do you think you'd use? Combined, mutually exclusive, conditional, or independent?
Conditional.
Conditional, excellent. Now, like Nikolai said, you don't need to use the formula for this. And the reason why is because for Venn diagrams, it's probably the easiest one where you don't need to use the formula. All that given means you just got to study this French circle. So given means you just study the French circle. So if you were doing it without the formula, you'd say, given this person studies French, that is going to generate your denominator of the answer. That's going to be 65, is that correct? 60. What's the probability they studied only French? Now, which section of the diagram, Hugo, is only French? 25. Do you want me to show you how to use the formula? Because you need it for other topics, or not really?
The given one, that one.
That's the answer.
Oh, okay.
Now, in your D2 exam, you are not expected to simplify fractions, but if you do, make sure you do it correctly. There is conditional on a tree diagram as well. I don't really have much time to go over that. Right. I've drawn a tree diagram. Enrique, what does each branch add up to on a tree diagram? 1. Excellent. If I get 4 answers here orally, what do all those 4 add up to? By multiplying across. 1. Now, we've got 2 different types of tree diagrams. We've got independent versus dependent. I'm going to draw a tree diagram. Let's say it's 0.6, 0.4, 0.3, 0.7, 0.3, 0.7. Would this be an independent or dependent tree diagram?
I think it's independent.
Independent.
Because
Why is
there
it
are two
independent?
situations.
There's
that's why
2
it's independent.
situations and they don't change on the second branch.
Exacto.
When these are matching exactly, this represents an independent tree diagram. Now, if we are talking about dependent events are normally when they're not replaced. So independent,
We're not doing dependent, no?
this is called independent.
So, Miss, imagine the second branch is like, I don't know, 0.4 and then 0.6, and then the other one 0.3, 0.7. Is that dependent?
That's dependent, yes.
Okay.
Ah, verdad, esa carne pica con algo.
Qué asco, bro.
El shepherd's
era
pie is
bastante
about
grande.
Spanish.
The shepherd pie is going to be shipped from somewhere.
O sea, la última comida del año.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
The thing with given.
And the cluster.
Yeah.
Every time it says given, I use that formula.
That's a
Yes.
dependent event,
Every
miss?
time.
Yeah.
So when it starts with given.
Yeah.
And why?
Because that's what a given formula is. That means that dash means given that B is happening.
Miss?
Okay.
But if a Venn diagram, you don't have to use it. You could just use it like visually.
Miss?
But for tree diagrams, you use that formula. Yes.
So dependent is with fractions?
No.
Not. How can I know it's dependent?
Okay. I'm going to explain some situations. Can you all stop talking again? There's too much talking going on today for your last lesson. Independent is when you've got an event like this and the second set of branches are exactly the same. They're copied and pasted down.
Okay.
Dependent is like an event when you've got sweets. Maybe you start with 9 sweets.
But then you take off one.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
2 are blue, 7 are red. You then reduce it so that the next denominator changes by 1. Then we've taken 1 blue out, so the 2 goes to a 1. The red stays the same. This one, you've taken 1 red out, so the 7 goes to a 6. The blue stays the same. That is the difference between independent and dependent. Now, it doesn't matter what this is about. The key thing you've got to know about this is the and the or rule. So, in an experiment, it might ask you, what is the probability of getting 2 of the same colours? How would we answer that question? 2 of the same colours.
You would add the 2 blues and the 2 reds together.
Well done. So it's going to be the probability of blue and blue, or the probability of red and red. People commonly get this wrong. Blue and blue needs to be the blue, the 2/9 times the 1/8, plus the red, which is the 7/9, times the red again, which is the 6/8.
So you actually.
Miss, how would I put this in the calculator? 2 9s.
The easiest way I do it is just to brackets 2 divided by 9.
Okay.
So
There's another way of doing it. You can change. You can write fractions, but you have to press out 4 buttons. I think that's easiest. Yeah.
n is what times or plus?
And is times.
No, not and n.
And it's like number.
N is the intersection.
Yeah. So how do we?
How do you do that for a probability question?
I mean, is it plus? Is it
Okay,
times?
it depends. Let's do an actual question with conditional probability with this one.
Okay.
Let's say given that the 2 colours are the same, what's the probability they're both red? What's the probability that they're both red? So what you would do is you'd write the probability of them being both the same, which you've worked out in the previous question, which would be 2/9 times 1/8 plus 7/9 times 6/8. That would be the new denominator. And the A and B, now this would be the intersection of it being red and the 2 being the same. Now because the 2 being the same, you either can get 2 red or 2 blue. That numerator is just going to be the probability of 2 red, because that's a subset of the whole thing. So this is going to be the probability of it being 2 red over the probability of it being the same. So normally with these conditional probabilities, it's not timesing. You normally just take one of the probabilities, the smaller one, put that on top, divided by the other one you found in the previous question.
So it's not the intersection.
Miss, I've never used these formulas in my life and I still got the answers correct.
Okay.
It's the first time I'm seeing them.
Okay. Well, you should have used them a bit in lockdown. We probably did it a slightly different way. You can do it without these formulas, but it's better to do it with the formulas. Gwendolyn, does that make sense?
I don't really get it.
We can do a little bit more on it or go on to finance. What do you think?
Yeah, okay. It's just, I don't understand.
Miss, can you do the discrete random variables? Please?
This one here? Yeah.
I don't understand why if it's meant to be the intersection, why do we just choose one of the 2?
The reason is, for this particular example I came up with, I was talking about B was the probability of them being the same. So if I drew a circle,
So wait, imagine we take that example you just did up.
yeah, we're doing that one.
It's B, yeah, so B is 2 over 9.
No. In this instance, we're doing a new question where B is the probability of them being the same,
B. What is it? A.
and these are being two reds. I've made up a random question.
Okay.
This B is different to this B. This B represents blue. This B, I've created a new question,
Uh-huh.
is them being the same. With a question, with a previous question in the exam, we'd answer how they're the same by substituting into this formula. We would get 2/9 times 1/8, which is going to be 2 over 72. Yeah. Plus 7/9 times 6/8, which is going to be 42 over 72.
But when you say the same, what do you mean?
Two of the same colours. So in order for us to generate two of the same colours, we have to get a blue and a blue,
Yeah?
and we multiply,
Oh, yeah, I get it.
or a red and a red.
Yeah.
So part B of the question asks us to work out this answer, which is 44 over 72.
So that's B.
Yes, that would be B. And then the next question might say, given that the colours are the same, yes, we've worked that out, that's B.
Yeah.
What's the probability they're two reds? So what you do is substitute into this formula. B is going to be 44 over 72. We've worked that out. Now, A and B,
That's the intersection, right?
yes, I'm going to explain why it's really hard, this one. So, B is them being the same. Now, this is a weird diagram. You know, normally with diagrams, they cross each other like this with Venn diagrams. For this particular one, we've got A being inside of B.
Okay.
Because in order for A to occur, they have to be the same. And in order for A to occur, they have to be two of the same colours, and A is just them being two reds.
Yeah.
That's one opportunity.
Okay.
So the A and B of this one is where A is, where B is, and where they cross. And they happen to
So
cross
A
just
is
what A is. So
Okay.
this A and B just happens to be what A is.
And what
Our
is
A for this one is two reds.
So
Then
is
you
it 7
ninths times 6,
Do
8.
that.
Yes, which would be 42 over 72. And then you do, basically, if you've got the same denominators here,
Yeah.
these would be cancelled. So it would be 42 over 44.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Right, D2s. Before we move on to finances for 10 minutes, I really want to go over this. Now, this question is like a given in the exam. It's going to be an easy one to answer, but you will forget how to do it. So if you're not listening to anything today, please listen to this. Now, we have lots of probabilities. If they're all under 1, we're likely to think they're going to add up to 1. So, what's this K going to be, Nikolai, if these all need to add up to 1?
There's 4 plus 2, that's 6, so that is 4 out of 7.
So 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, Ugo?
1.
1. So K is 1/7. We've worked out K. 1, 2 marks.
Why is it 1 7?
Because 1/7 plus 1/7 plus 2/7 plus 1/7 plus 1/7 plus 1/7 is 7 over 7, which is 1.
Ah, 7, okay, understand.
If it's a fraction, we want all the numerators to add up to the denominator.
Okay.
Now, Sarah, this is a challenge question for you because you seem to be doing well at maths at the moment, and I think you'll be able to answer this. This activity is about a game. The score of the game is -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Sarah, how are you going to work out the expected score of the game?
Oh, that's the only one I didn't know how to do. I even circulated.
Qué casualidad.
Okay, now this D2 is so easy, but you will forget how to do this unless you're listening.
Miss, did you see expected frequency?
Yes.
Is it the total times the other total.
Yes.
By the
Yeah.
total.
Claro.
It's either gonna be complicado y no
Yes, I think you're right.
Am I right?
I kind of got your explanation, yeah.
Anda. Es un maltratador.
Just to take back your memory, you know we did that lesson about betting, and Amy was quite good at it. In that lesson, we talked about something called fair games. In fair games, you have to do something called an expected probability. Normally, you're given a horizontal table, and it will say E of X or expected. If you're asked to do this, all you have to do is the score minus the probability. The score minus probability. Score minus probability. You add them all up, and you get a number.
Minus.
It's minus 2 times 1/7. Minus 1, it's because the scores are negative.
But then you start adding up.
Yes,
One
and
plus 1/7.
so minus 2/7 plus minus 1/7 plus 0.
Yeah.
Then you get an answer. The answer will tell you what is the expected score. I think the answer is around about 1.3 from what I
But
can
you
remember.
multiply them or you add them?
So you multiply each of the pairs,
Okay.
and the answer to that you add them all up. Yes, because all of these need to add up to 1. Okay, we're going to do some finance questions now.
From micro?
So again,
From micro. From unit 1.
can you go hands one at
From unit 1.
one
I was
each, please?
confused in unit 1. It's from unit 1, ¿no,
Is
me?
this making sense? Etc.? Yes.
Y esto lo voy a
So
saber
find
hacer.
EX, the expected value of what?
This will, it'll say this is about a game, and each of the scores of the game are these, and these are each of the probability. Find the expected score, or find E of X. You just have to multiply the pairs and add them.
Oh,
That's it. Part 3, what's the probability of scoring a 0?
So always doing the score times F X.
Yes, so the probability.
Oh my god.
Or it might be that
That's fine.
No, just in case.
Yeah, because Lance and Ben are definitely coming. I just don't want to get ready and no one be there.
Yeah, I'm a 50-50.
Yeah, that's fine. I would be good if you could come.
Yeah. But what do you want to do tomorrow?
Whatever you want.
Can we do like differentiation?
Yeah. I want you to lead it tomorrow. So just say this is the question I want to do. Can you go over it? And we'll do it like a private tutoring session. I'll just sit with you and we'll mathematically work through it all. It's not going to be like this style lesson. Right. I'm going to go over each of these things. N. Tom, what does N mean?
The time.
Time. Well done. What does I mean, Eamon? What does I mean? I%.
It's the percentage of how much.
It goes up.
Interest.
Enrique, if it was a depreciation question, it was going down, how would you change this? If it went down 3%, would we put 3 or would we change the 3? Yes. Alexandra said it was -3. If it goes down, it's going to be -3. This one is the initial amount. This is the monthly payment. Now, not all questions have monthly payments. Nicola, are you making notes about this?
so you can just put 0.
Yes. Final value. Now, these it either starts with like a positive value and goes to 0, or these are different signs. Please remember this. If you're selling a car, these are different signs. The PV and FV need to be different. Why is that? If I bought a car, my sister,
value and present value.
yeah, my sister for some stupid reason spent 14,000 on a car the other day. Pounds.
I'm joking.
Yeah, so and she's 22, which is a bit ridiculous, like 17,000 euros. My car was like $7,000.
Miss, what car is it?
I can't remember. It's like a sporty car. She-
M4? Wrecked.
Oh no, you can get them for under 30, not chance.
Bro, wait.
British
so
cars are
old-
cheaper than Spanish cars.
Yeah.
So my sister bought a car. If
Like
she
good
bought a
price,
car, she is going to give away her money. If she's given away 14,000, how much money has she lost or gained? Did she lose or gain?
She lost 14,000.
She loses it, so it'd be
Yeah,
negative.
she getting a nice win.
And then when she sells the car again, what will happen to the money?
Well, she's not going to get 14
Depreciates.
grand back. That's
It depreciates, and she might get, say, 6,323 back, but that's going to be positive. So these need to be different signs if one of them's not zero. If the FB isn't zero, they need to be different signs. Periods per year, and that's it. Now, I'm going to say something really fun. In the exam, if you're not sure what to do, and you write down NI, PV, PMT, copy this all down, you get 1 mark in the exam.
Miss, I have a question.
Yeah.
6,323 is the final value of the car?
When
or,
she sells it, yeah.
or how much the car has been depreciated?
So, no, that's the final value of the car based on a depreciation. So if it's depreciated by 3% or something,
So the depreciation value, we would need to subtract 14,000 minus 6,000.
no, this means she's bought the car for 14,000
Yes.
and she sold it for 6,323.
Yeah.
So it's like if you bought the car for 40,000 and your yearly interest is like 3%, what is the final value of the car?
Yeah, that's the sort of question you could be asked. But then it would give you a time period as well. And you might be asked to work out the time period. You might be asked to work out the final value of the car. You might be asked to work out the interest. And remember, you do alpha solve.
So in the exam, we just copy down the whole table.
And you can get 1 mark, yeah. Yeah.
Vale, ese es el más fácil de todo, tío. Me va a pensar como 10.
So, please be quiet. I'm going to read this question. You cannot see it very well, so please check Hangouts. You probably still can't see it very well on Hangouts. Erica brings out a personal loan of 16,500 to buy a car. So it's similar to my sister's car, because my sister's car was about 17,000 euros. She represents a term of 4 years at 5.5% per annum. Calculate the monthly repayments. Now, with a loan, the final value has to be 0 because you want to pay off the loan. So initially, she is paid in money. So the first initial value, PV, is going to be what she's paid. That's 1,500. But by the end of the period, she wants to get it to 0. Now the PMT is the monthly cost because she's paying out and that money's going away. Eamon, if I'm paying out money, am I losing negative or am I gaining money? Losing. So that's going to be negative. So it wants you to work out what the monthly repayments are. So in the exam, what you'd have to do is write the interest is 5.5%.
How many?
The N is 48. Virgo, why have I written 48 as the N? Why have I written 48 as the N if it's 4 years?
You times it by 4.4.
No?
No, by 12, by 12.
By 12. Why by 12?
Because it's like it's compounded every month.
It's 425.
I don't know, I always confuse
The
them.
reason why you need to do this for this question is because you are paying a monthly amount. And when you're paying a monthly amount, it's in months. So N needs to be changed to months. So you take the 4 and you times by 12. This tells you how many periods per year. Enrique, why have I put 12 periods per year if we're paying monthly? Because we're paying every month, which means it means 12 times per year. So that is what you type in your calculator. You'd get 2 marks for that in the exam. The last thing you need to make sure you remember to do, it asks you what the monthly repayment is. That's going to be minus. In your answer, you're going to write it as a positive. You just change the sign, but you expect it to be negative in the calculator.
Miss, I was looking through it with Miss Diaz. It doesn't matter if it's negative or positive in the calculation.
Okay. Be careful, because when you're doing PV and FV, one will always be negative and one will always be positive unless it's a low. In terms of this answer, if this is negative, this will be positive. But I like you to think about it in terms of giving or gaining money. If you gain money, it's positive. If you give it away, it's negative. Then you don't get too confused. But you have to then adjust your answer to positive. So positive and negative generally doesn't matter, but then you have to adjust something if it does. Like these either would be negative positive or positive negative. Does that make sense? This is making more sense because you weren't here when we did this. You were ill when we did this D1.
Yeah, now I get it.
You got it. Excellent. Ben, have you got any questions that you'd like me to do tomorrow? Nikolai said differentiation.
What we didn't have enough time to do. You got a list of things.
Binomial,
Yes.
like the end of binomial.
And then
Spearman's, Pearson's.
Yes.
It's a bit of differentiation. You didn't come to the differentiation lesson.
Miss, can you do differentiation and integration, please?
Yeah, differentiation,
That's the only
integration,
thing I genuinely don't know.
Spearman's, Pearson's, bit of binomial. There's a couple of topics we haven't done, but nothing major.
I like other hypothesis testing, just in case.
Okay, excellent.
And I'm also quite bad at shapes, apparently.
What'd you say?
Like, I'm not that good in like.
Okay,
science.
3D shapes. Remember, I am here next week. If you'd like to see me during the lesson or any other time, please email me before. I might be lying down on my beanbag sleeping, or in the piano room.
Are you not doing a class tomorrow?
I am in Estepona.
Yeah.
But is it gonna be Zoom?
I'm going to record it because I might not have internet, and then I'll send it to you. Is that all right, or would you prefer me to try and get internet?
Yes, but can you do it in McDonald's better? That's a big thing.
Okay, ask some questions. If not, you can come in Zoom 1-to-1 next week.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Bye, thank you.
But why couldn't we do it in McDonald's? Because that's for me.
It's because it's what?
In McDonald's, why didn't we do it in McDonald's?
Because I wanted to go somewhere closer to my house, so I don't have to drive. And it's got a nice outdoor area.
Okay, miss, so.
It's easy to get to. It's Estepona Port. You know where Estepona Port is? Yeah.
Yeah,
So you'll see me probably tomorrow at 10.
I'll see, but yeah, I'm really not
Miss,
sure.
the thing is,
Okay, that's fine.
if tomorrow Saturday, at what time do you finish the revision?
I'm doing 10 till 12. But Miss Diaz is doing one next Saturday in school. 10 till
Next
2.
Saturday is very late.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'm doing online revision every day, and I think tomorrow I had class from 10 to 1. I'm
Yeah.
gonna call them if I can do it earlier, like from 8 to 11.
Yeah.
Or
But I'm doing it. I'm doing it in Estepona though.
Sí, yeah, I take the car.
Where do you live here?
In the Soto Grande port.
Are you allowed to cross the boundary?
Yeah.
Okay, if you're coming, you have to get your parent to email me that it's allowed, because I'm responsible in case
But I'm
something
18,
happens. What'd you say?
I'm 18.
I know, but I've still got to get a confirmation email. Same for you. Is that all right? So maybe get your mum just to send an email anyway.
Okay, I'll send
Yeah.
it just in case, alright?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Hopefully see you tomorrow. We can do integration, differentiation,
I mean, if it's
hypothesis.
still recorded, no, I can still.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not the same as you.
It's not. I think it's better to be there in person, I think. Have you watched any of the recordings?